everybody and welcome. Today's project is going to be an adjustable dog collar. I will be using a biothene adapter for this collar. If you are not familiar with an adapter, I can leave a link below for you guys. I show you guys how to make your own and where to get your supplies. For this project, I already have my double cow's hitch hooked up. And if you are not familiar with how to do the double cow's hitch, I'll leave another link below. I show you guys how to set up your double cow's hitch, whether you're going to be using an adapter or if you want to use a quick release buckle. I show you guys how you can do either one. And if you're not familiar with how to hook it up to your jig, I do go over that as well. So for my double cow's hitch, I have black and red hex cord in 550. So for this project, the other cords that I will be using are, I'm going to be using two 550 paracord in fire engine. I'm also going to be using one 550 paracord in black. I have one cord in red glitter cord, and this is gutted, so it's hollow, and it's also 4mm. And then I have a 275 cord in black. So this collar is actually going to be for Sander. Sander has an obsession with ladybugs. It happened a couple of years ago where I lived in Kansas when my husband was still in the military, and we had an invasion of the ladybugs that year, and some of them actually got into our home, and Sander had a standoff with one on the ceiling, and he watched it for, I would say, 20 minutes. So when I saw these Ladybug Beads at Paracord Galaxy, I just had to get them, and I have to make him a collar. So these are the cutest Ladybug Beads. They are metal, and they have a ladybug on both sides. I'm going to try and get in close for you guys so you can actually see what they look like. Alright, so this is what they look like up close. I'm sorry my hand is a little shaky. What you can see is they got little antennas right over here, and they have their wings there. Now the bead is the same on the opposite side. And I got these at Paracord Galaxy, and they're just super cute. So these are what we're going to be using today, and they are metal. So the first cord that I'm going to add is one of the fire engines, and what I'm going to do here is I want to go right through these two cow's hitches. Now I already loosened them up a little bit, and I just want to go in between them both to the other side. If you do not have a paracord needle, it's quite alright. You can melt the top of your cord, create a hard cap so you can push it through those two through the two cow's hitches. I'm going to go right through just like that. I'm going to bring this cord to the other side and bring the middle of the cord to the top of my work. The next cord that I'm going to add is going to be the black cord. And I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the fire engine. I'm just going to go right through those two cow's hitches, bring it to the other side, and bring the middle of the cord to the top of my work. The next cord that I'm going to add is the glitter cord, and the glitter cord has a hard time staying on my needle, so I'm going to put it through by hand. Also, you can't melt the top of the glitter cord. It will catch on fire, so be aware of that. What I want to do here is I'm going to loosen up my cow's hitches just a bit more. I want to take my glitter cord and I want to go in between this first cow's hitch right in the middle. I want to go underneath this first stitch towards the left, underneath this second stitch towards the left, and then bring it up this second cow's hitch. So it's going to go in between this first one, underneath the 2 stitches towards the left, and up through that second cow's hitch. So it's going to go through like that. And sometimes this works for me, and then sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just going to follow my needle with my cord. And because my needle is holding up those cords, I might be able to get it all the way through. Oh, just almost. Got it. Okay, so you can see how it's just underneath these 2 middle stitches. It went through the first cow's hitch, and it came up the second cow's hitch in the middle. You're going to pull this cord to the middle as well. The next cord that I'm going to add is the other fire engine, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did with the glitter cord. I'm going to go in between that first cow's hitch, underneath those 2 stitches going towards the left, come up the second cow's hitch, pull this cord to the middle at the top of my work. And for the 275 cord, I'm going to just repeat the step that I just did with the fire engine. So I'm going to go in between that first cow's hitch, underneath those 2 stitches going towards the left, come up that second cow's hitch, and bring it to the other side, and bring the middle to the top of my work. Alright, once you have all of your cords to the middle at the top of your work, you can tighten everything up. You can also roll up all of your ends except for the black 275 cord. You want to leave that unrolled because we're going to be slipping the beads on that cord. I do suggest, because we have 2 Firetruck cords, rolling up one a little bit different than the other. And what I mean by that is I have the cord that I put through in the beginning, I have rolled up small, and then the other cord that I put through almost at the end, I rolled that one up bigger, and that just helps me figure out which one I'm going to be grabbing. Also, I do suggest double checking your measurements, making sure nothing moved around, and after you got all that out of the way, we can really just get started. So I'm going to be starting off on my right side with my hex cord. And what I'm going to do here is I want to go underneath this first cord that is on my right up the middle over that second cord on my left. So you're just going to go underneath, right up the middle, and then over. Next, you're going to take your cord that is on your left side, and you're going to take it underneath the cord that you just worked. You're going to go underneath this first cord now that is on your left side, right up the middle, and then over that second cord on your right. So go underneath, right up the middle, and then over. And then you have a little triangle here. The next cord that I'm going to grab is the fire cord on my right side. That is the smaller bundle. And what I want to do here is I'm going to go underneath all of my work and right up the middle, and then I have this loop on my right that I just made. I'm going to go down that loop. So take your smaller bundle of your Firetruck cord and you're going to go underneath, right up the middle, and then go down that loop. Take the one on your left now of the smaller bundle, and you're going to go again underneath all of your work right up the middle, and then you have this loop right here that you just made on your left, you're going to go down that loop. So go underneath, right up the middle, and then go down this loop right here on my left. Next, you're going to find your 2 horizontal hex cords that are in the middle, and you can pick up on them a little bit. Now you're going to take your black cord on your right side, the 550 black, and you're going to go over those 2 horizontal pieces, around them, and then out the right. So go over and around, and then out your right. You're going to take the one on the left now, and you're going to go over and around and out your left. So go over and around those 2 horizontal pieces and out your left. The next cord that you're going to be grabbing is going to be your glitter cord on the right side, and you're just going to repeat what you just did with the black cord. So take the one on the right, you're going to go over those 2 horizontal pieces, around them, and then out your right side. Take the one on the left, go over those 2 horizontal pieces, around and out the left. Next, you're going to grab your larger bundle of Firetruck, and what you want to do here is you're going to go over and around those 2 horizontal pieces, but you're going to come straight up the middle. So take the one on the right, go over and around, and come up the middle, and you will be on the left side of your working cord. For the one on the left, you're going to go over and around, and again come right up the middle, so you'll be on the right side of your working cord. So go over and around, and then come up the middle. And now I'm on the right side of my working cord. So I'm going to take the one on my right now, and I'm going to go over those 2 horizontal pieces, around, out my right, take the one on the left, go over and around, out my left, and then you can tighten it up. Alright, once you have it tightened up, you can start that weave again. Be aware that about your glitter cord and how it's sitting on your collar. Because it's gutted, it can get squished between the black and the red cord next to it. It can get kind of squished in there, and you want the glitter cord to be, you know, shining through. So just be aware of how that's laying. So to start, I'm going to be starting off on my right side again, and I will be starting off with the hex cord. And I want to go underneath this first cord, right up the middle, over the second cord. So I'm going to go underneath, right up the middle, then over that cord on my left. Take your cord now that's on your left, go underneath the cord that you just worked. Go underneath your first cord, which is now on your left, right up the middle, and then over that second cord on your right. Take your smaller bundle of your fire cord. What you're going to do here is you're going to go underneath all of your work, right up the middle, down this loop that I made on my right side. Take the one on the left now, smaller bundle, go underneath all of your work, right up the middle, and then you have your loop on your left, go down that loop. Now you can pick up on these 2 horizontal hex cords. You're going to take your black cord that is on your right side, the 550. You're going to go over those 2 horizontal pieces and around and out your right. take the one on the left, go over and around those two pieces again, and out your left. You're going to repeat the same thing with the glitter cord. So take the one on the right. You're going to go over those two horizontal pieces, around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over, whoops, over and around and out the left. Now for your larger bundle of fire cord, what we're going to do here is, before we went with the right one around and up the middle, this time you're going to go around and out the right. So go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left now, and you're going to go over and around and out the left. Over and around and out the left. And you're going to repeat that step with your 275 black cord. So take the one on the right and go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left, and then you can tighten it up. Once you have it nice and tight, we can start the weave all over again. I'm going to take my hex cord on the right, and I'm going to go underneath, right up the middle, and then over. Take the cord on my left now, go underneath the cord that I just worked, underneath that first cord, right up the middle, and then over again. Now I'm going to take my smaller bundle of fire cord, and I'm going to go underneath all of my work, right up the middle, and then down that loop that I just made on my right. Take the one on the left, smaller bundle, go underneath, right up the middle, and then down that loop on the left. Next, I'm going to find those two horizontal cords of hex in the middle, and I'm going to lift them up a little bit. Now I'm going to take my black on my right side, the 550 cord, and I'm going to go over and around those two cords and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around, and then out the left. Now I'm going to find my glitter cord that is on my right side, and I'm just going to repeat those steps that I just did with the black. So I'm going to take the one on the right, go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left. Next, I'm going to take my fire cord, the longer bundle of Firetruck cord, and I am going to go back to the first weave with this cord. So I'm going to go around these two horizontal cords, and I'm going to come right up the middle. So I'm going to take the one on the right, and I'm going to go over and around and come up the middle. I'll be on the left side of my working cord. I'm going to take the one on the left now. I'm going to go over and around, and I'm going to come up the middle again, and I'll be on the right side of my working cord. So go over and around and up the middle. So for this particular cord, you're going to be switching back and forth on each weave. So for the 275 cord, this is where we'll start putting on our beads. And you're going to put it on both cords. So I'm going to place my bead at the end, or the top of my work, and I'm going to take my right cord, and I'm going to go over those horizontal cords again and out my right. I'm going to take the one on my left, go over and around and out my left. Make sure that your cord isn't twisted at all. So the right one, go around, out the right, the left, go around and out the left. And then you want to tighten it up. So once you have it tightened up, you're going to want to start that weave all over again. It might take a little while to get the bead nice and snug on your collar. Just be patient with it and pull everything around that area one at a time so you can get the bead, like I said, nice and snug in there. It does kind of spin a little bit, so it'll take a little bit of work. Alright guys, so I went down quite a few weaves so you would see a bigger portion done. I am putting a ladybug on every other weave. So every other weave I'm putting on a bead from where I started. When you are tightening everything up, just remember to be patient to get those beads on nice and tight. From what I am seeing here, they're not going to be spinning on my collar because I made them nice and snug in the weave. Just take your time with that, and I'm going to continue this weave all the way down the collar, and when I get to the end I'll show you guys how I do my tie off and what it looks like when I put the adapter on. Also remember to take your top Firetruck cord. You're going to be going back and forth with going up the middle with the cord, so you go around those two horizontal cords and you go up the middle, and then the following weave you'll be going out to the right or the left. Just remember to do that. When you're coming up the middle, that is where you are going to put on a bead. That helps the bead sink into the collar, so they'll be easier to get nice and snug in there. Okay, so I'm going to continue working on this one, and I'll show you guys the tie off and what it looks like with the biothane attached. Alright, so I'm at the end of my collar. I took it off the jig, and now we can sew in or weave in the top cords. The top cords are the ones that are directly coming out of the top part of your collar. So it's going to be the 550 black on the right and left, the glitter cord on both sides as well, and the Firetruck on both sides as well, and also the 275 cord. So to weave in your cords, what you're going to do is you have a gap in between your work and your two cows hitches. You have a small gap right in between those two. And you're going to take your 550 black on both sides, your glitter on both sides, and your Firetruck on both sides. And you're going to put it right through that gap from front to back. Once you have all those cords going from the front to the back of the collar, what you're going to want to do now is take your 275 cords. You're going to do both of them. And what you want to do here is, let me tighten that up a little bit. You want to go in this small hole in between your two cows hitches. You have a small hole there, and you're going to put the 275 cord from front to back through that hole. Okay, after you got that taken care of, you can tighten everything up, and we are going to also weave in our glitter cord. Because the glitter cord does not stick, because it's gutted, and you really don't want to burn it because it does catch on fire, what we're going to do is we're just going to weave it through one of the side weaves. So if you have trouble with getting your glitter cord to stay on your needle. I have trouble often with that. If you just, you know, keep on turning it and just keep on turning it, it does eventually start to catch. Okay, so I'm going to take my one on my right, and what I want to do is I want to go on the outer side of this stitch right here on the side. And I'm just going to go on the outer side of that and go through it. And just pull it tight. And then I'll take the left and I'm going to go through this stitch the same way. So I'm going to go from the outer side. Yeah. So I'm going to go from the outer side to the inside. Now you're going to pull on your once you have those through, you're going to tighten up these side cords again. And I'm going to start on my side. And I'm going to cut about half an inch up from the collar. I'm going to fray them out. And I'm going to melt them and then squish them down. So I'll start with the top. And squish it down. I'll do the bottom one now. Try not to let it catch on fire. It does happen. Do the other side the same way. So I'm going to cut about half an inch up from the collar. I'm going to start with the one on the top. Maybe. Squish it down. To the other one. Squish it down. And now for the middle cords. So for the glitter cord, I'm going to let them cross over each other. And I'm going to start with the two Firetruck cards. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with the one on my left, and I'm going to cut that a little bit longer than the others. I'm going to fray it out real well. I'm going to get that nice and hot, and then I'm going to squish it down. And I want to try and squish it down on the glitter as well as the collar. So I have it stuck on the glitter cord and the collar. That'll help that glitter cord stay in place. I'll do the Firetruck on the opposite side now, the same way, and then I will do the same with the 2 black cords, the 550 cords, and then I will do the 275 cord. Be aware that the 275 cord does burn a little bit faster, so you might want to cut it just a little bit longer. Okay, once you have it all stuck down and melted, you can cut off the glitter cord ends. And I'll be honest, this isn't the prettiest tie-off that I've done, but it's the only way that I know that I can get everything to stick down when I have that glitter cord on there. So once you have that done, I do suggest using a little bit of Gorilla Glue on your ends that you melted. I usually will tell you that you don't have to do this, but because you're working with that glitter cord, I do suggest it. And I'm just going to put it on the ends that I melted. You don't need a whole lot. You can smear it around with your finger. I've never had anything come apart that I know of. Nobody's ever complained about it. So I use clear non-foaming Gorilla Glue. And I've heard of other people using other glues and they worked out for them, but I can only recommend this one because this is the only one that I use. So I'm going to let this dry. And then once it's dry, I'll show you guys what it looks like with the biothene attached.